out of this. Okay, here we are for July, middle of smack bang middle of winter. We are. We're all Victorians here, so we're all suffering together.
Not suffering.
No, we're not suffering. We've got a heater on.
Yes.
Sitting in front of the heater with my fluffy socks on. I'm good to go. So how are we all?
Good.
Very good.
Good. Well, looks like we've got a deluxe cruise this evening. So we'll see who else joins us. But in the meantime, let's just chat, shall we? Let's get a bit of a catch up. Let's get a catch up and see where we're all sitting at the moment. What's the well, I know Sue and Justin will throw straight to them because it's not long before their book is launched, hey?
No, and Justin, let you lead off this time, and I'll do the feel.
Hey, I was
She's
going.
basically saying you're going to miss stuff out, Justin. So is what she's saying.
Oh, how unkind. That's not what I meant at all. It's usually me who takes the airwaves first.
Andrew, could I share screen for a second? Could you give me a little opportunity?
Go on, mate. Wow.
Hey,
That's a lot of books.
that's a lot of books.
I don't know what you made us do, Andrew. What you make us buy this many?
I didn't make you do anything. I can't remember. I had a conversation about how many books you should buy. So don't throw me under the bus for that one. How many books is that?
That is 1,200.
All right.
Wow. 1,000 paperback and 200 hard copy.
Yeah.
You've got work to do now, haven't you? Well, that's a good thing about buying lots of books. You're now motivated to sell.
Yeah.
You're motivated sellers right now.
I'll show you another one in a second, but it's still syncing from some cloud or something. But Sue said for me to.
Got it yet? Have you got the book?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, let's have a look. Oh, there it is.
Oh,
did you take did you video yourselves opening the box?
Yes, that's there. We'll load that up on social media at some point. That's the soft cover.
Nice.
And behind me, you can see that's the hardcover back there.
Well done. That's awesome.
So we got the limited run of the hard copy because both Justin and I wanted that, and we thought we'd have some people who would want that. But the publisher themselves, they said predominantly the paperback. But we just, Justin, I said I'd shush and let you go first, so I'll try to honour that and be quiet for a moment.
No, so look, these now.
Exciting time. It's an exciting time.
Let's see if I share this little one for a second. And might even. So can you see
Here
that?
we are. That's today.
Signing copies.
Signing copies.
Oh my gosh.
So what's it feel like? Here we are signing our books.
Well, who would have known? Well, I think it was over a year ago now. We had this idea that we'd end up doing it. It's a fantastic feeling, isn't it?
And just the feel of the books.
I know.
We love the soft cover and the hard cover. And
Melbourne Books did so well for us that way, and the quality of the paper. And you know, I have to say, as a book lover, the smell.
yes.
Fantastic.
So that was us
I'm
a few hours ago.
I'm a bit worried about what you're doing with that book at home on your own, Justin.
Because Justin's son was videotaping us, Andrew, and he said, look, I'm getting a bit worried at this moment.
Yeah, look, you know what? Yeah, but he doesn't understand.
No, he's only 20-something. How could he?
But that moment, isn't it, when you actually hold it and you smell it?
Yeah.
And you see your name on it and you
You
flip
got it. Yeah.
go, so worth every moment in the journey.
It was sensory, the whole sensory experience.
Yeah, it's incredible. So congratulations, guys. That's such an amazing feeling. And signing it.
Yeah.
Good on you.
That's a little update. So
all right, so guys, for this small group on this call and for everyone watching, what was the key for you to get to that point what would you say? I'll get Sue and Justin just to share. What would be one thing that was a key for you moving through this whole process, through your doubts, through your fears, through the process to actually having that moment where you sat together, signing books together?
Well,
Well-
do you want you start, Justin, or me?
But the one that came to my
Yeah.
mind for one thing, and not saying it just because we're on this forum, but is you, Andrew. You know, I genuinely don't think we'd be here. I had never even quite come up with the concept of a book, so probably I need to say Sue. But then Sue that idea of making our message more accessible to people. And then, okay, I suppose we kind of know how to write a book, but we don't really know how to write a book. And you were able to give us the belief in ourselves and the advice. And so I genuinely think without the decision of Sue reaching out to you, and then without your support, you know, maybe it'd be possible we still had a book, but we certainly, you know, that for me was that if you don't start it, you've got no chance of sitting here. And so the starting piece went to in answering your question.
That's awesome, mate. And thank you. And I'll take as much credit as I deserve, but obviously you guys need to take 99.999% of that credit. But I think, you know, what you've said, the two pieces are the decision.
Yeah.
As you said, if you don't start, you'll never have a book. And the decision not just to start, the decision to get the job done. And it's interesting, you know, people talk a lot about the percentage of people that will write and publish a book, and they say, oh, you know, it's 3% and 97%. But the reality is it's 100%. I think I've said this to you guys before. It's 100% of people that make the decision will actually do it. Because when you make a decision, it's not like, oh, well, I'll see how I go. It's not like I'll try. It's this will be done. And I know you guys right from the start, the decision was very, very a very committed decision. I knew there was no doubt in my mind that you'd be at this point. And then thank you again for what you said. But I think just to reframe it so it's not all about me, but it's about association and it's about mentorship and it's about accountability. So you got to make a decision, but then you also, I think you need that accountability, which then just guides you along the way. So that's awesome. Good on you, Justin. What about you, Sue?
Yeah, I agree with Justin that we had skills, we had our education, our lived experience, but we didn't have experience in book writing and we didn't know how to go about it. So you gave us strategy and management skills, as well as the continued upraising of belief in ourselves. You kept saying things, you held the space with us through the process, which was wonderfully reassuring. And what for me was another clincher of what you did, you gave us structure. And it was a structure that was readily adopted by us and readily enabling us to break it down to the components, right? You know, overview, but chapter. What's in a chapter? Get a model, do one chapter, and then another and another. So that, for me, it was always that daunting prospect of how do you start? Yes, number one. Two, how do you get a book length out of anything? How do you keep yourself to the task? And also, you know, it felt overwhelming. But when you break it to a section and you say, Justin and I, you gave us processes of the two of us writing how we could touch base with each other. But you finished, for me, I had a word limit, a minimum word limit for myself, and I finished that for the day. And I learned not to look too far ahead, not to go, oh God, tomorrow I've got to do that again. Or how many tomorrows do I have to do that again? I learned to compartmentalize it and go, that's today's bit. I'll let Justin know I've written today's bit. And he let me know he'd written his today's bit. And I even practiced the discipline of don't go back there, Sue, later today, even if you think you want to. Don't edit it, don't revise it, but also don't add to it, because you've done what you wanted to do, and build an anticipation and an excitement about going back there again tomorrow. So that's what I would add.
Well, that's beautiful, and I want to thank you for the compliments you've given me. But trust me, do the same with many, many people that don't actually follow through and write the book. So inherently, there's something within you. So what is it within you? Not forget about the structure and the process and the accountability. What was it within you that kept you going to want to really get to this point?
Well, it's a combination of things, but I think it's the importance to convey something that Justin and I had a business which we wanted to convert. We pivoted with you with the book, and I saw your ad on LinkedIn. I said, let's have a go. Yeah, your message. You can be an author. I have always, from a child, adored, loved books, and I was an English teacher and literature. So it was something that I always aspired to and admired the writers. Then I met Justin, who was the well-being person. And I was that girl in Broken Hill in the 1950s in a very male-driven patriarchal society with an educated teacher mum who gave me the passport through books to discover worlds beyond the world I was within. So the aspiration to one day be a writer myself and to find answers with Justin's wellbeing arm, to find answers to what does it all mean? What's this life all mean? What can I make of it? And when I do explore that and read and research and put it into words and hear Justin's as well, and then trial it with people who tell us, yes, that worked for us too. So then, because it's our belief in servant leadership, offer it to others in a way that it might also help inspire, spark them. So the little girl who I wrote a blog very early on was like the child crying for the moon, something unreachable, became the adult woman who thought, maybe I just need to chart the course, find the way. And I did that with Justin and write it down and give a process that others might also benefit from. So it was that wanting to give back what we'd found.
Yep, awesome. Good stuff. That's awesome. Well done, you guys. Very exciting. So you've got launches coming up, haven't you? Well, at the end where you can sort of tell everyone where your launches are and when. I know you've got a few different things going on. Hello, Justine. How are you?
Justine.
I'm sick.
Oh.
Sorry to hear it.
Yeah. Oh.
I'm here.
Yeah,
You
you
are.
guys can count on Justine. Rail,
Yeah.
rains, shine, sleet,
Mm.
flu,
Yeah.
You
I
jump
went to
at no.
Melbourne
Whatever.
today.
COVID, whatever it is, she's here.
I went to Melbourne today and did that television shoot.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
How'd that go?
Oh, well, besides feeling like shit, I was worried I was going to have a coughing fit through it, but
Yeah.
no, it was fine. It was good. It was I was very grateful for the opportunity. Yeah.
Mm.
Hopefully it makes a bit of difference in people's lives.
Yeah.
And can I just say that connection came through this group?
Mm.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
The
So
power.
it was meeting Eva here 18 months ago, I suppose it'd be, wouldn't it, Andrew?
On one of these calls, yeah, probably about 18 months ago. Well, it was.
Yeah, on one of
ago,
these
there was-
calls.
Well, Bali
Mm.
was 12 months ago now, wasn't it?
And then we met face to face in Bali, which is what we were saying. It was pretty ironic that we live an hour away, but it actually was 7,000 kilometers the first time we met. And she sent me a message a couple of weeks ago asking if I wanted to be number one.
Wow.
The first one that she's done. So yeah,
Numero
it wouldn't have
uno.
happened. Pardon?
Numero uno.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, no, so it was good.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Well, it's all a bit hard to follow Justin and Sue after. So, Justine, so that you know, guys, do you want to just do a bit of a flash for Justine?
Have you got your book?
Yeah, your book.
Yeah.
Flash it. Flash it.
Woohoo!
There it is. There it is.
That's the paperback, and we've got a hardcover as well, Justine.
Awesome.
and the behind me is the hardcover. And Justin put up a screenshot of the pallet of books that are now sitting in his garage that we
Work to
are going
do.
to sell.
Work to do. We better start.
How many
talking about
pallets?
How many copies? Well,
No, how many
1,200.
pallets?
One
1,200
pallet.
books. One pallet,
One
1,200
pallet, yeah.
books.
Oh, well, I had 2,000 copies in mine.
Oh, okay, you see? And look at you. You've done
Now-
really well.
I think it's.
Yeah.
I think it's. I actually like the idea of investing. I mean, obviously, you
Yeah.
have to invest because it does, as I
Yeah.
said, motivate you to sell them.
Yep.
So now we've got to get selling them so we can turn that investment.
Oh, there's
to a profit.
hers.
There it is.
Podcast, wordcast.
That's a thick one, isn't it?
That's thick. Gosh,
Yeah.
yes. Yep,
Yeah.
twice the size.
And same, but different.
Yep.
That I wrote 2 years ago.
Yep.
Went live last week for Kindle.
Yay!
Yeah.
That's great. I think that's great to have inclusivity on the ways you put your book out there, the mediums, isn't it? Because
Yeah.
there are many people they'll either listen to it, view it on electronically, or get a book
Mm.
copy, whichever way it works for them.
Yeah.
Great.
All accessible.
Good.
It's
All right. So
accessible.
let's hear from Clem. Clem, how are you, mate? Love to hear where you're at. What's going on?
Yeah, good. Yeah. Just listening to Sue and Justin. Yeah, the same experience. Andrew was one who inspired me to write the book, and that was about 3 years ago, I think, during COVID. And we finished that off and finally had a small launch just on my 70th birthday, which was a year ago. So that was good. Yeah.
That's good, mate. That's good. I'm working on anything at the moment.
Oh, I still do executive mentoring, and the book has been very useful because what happens is I refer to the book besides other things I do, YouTube and all that stuff. But I use the book to advantage, and it's great even when I give talks. The book's really a good thing to have, in the background. People are interested in. Yeah, so it's slowly moving. I got the combination with the Kindle, and even though sometimes they can get it free, I think the main thing is the message goes across. Yeah.
It does, for sure. Well, good on you, mate. Well, good to see you.
Yeah, no, it's good.
And Joe's second forum this week. She's back.
Yeah, sorry to be greedy. I'm just a glutton for punishment. So
Well,
there's different people, and you learn different things from different people. So it would be the same. I would go to the same training with different people.
Yeah.
So learn as much from the others as from the facilitators. So it's really good to see people getting published, and sorry to see Justine sick. And I've just been getting more quotes. So I was expecting a printer's quote back yesterday, which didn't come. So I've sent, while we were waiting to start, I actually just quickly sent an email because it reminded me that that was the next step that hadn't happened yet. So done a chase up email. I'm finding it really interesting getting printer quotes when they don't come back to you. It's like, you're a client ready to go type thing and don't get a quote. Don't know what that's about.
That means that you don't really want a client, doesn't it?
Yeah, sort of does, which I find a bit weird, but anyway.
That's weird.
And just started having a really quick look at rock pool that got suggested at the last meeting. So that was useful
Good.
as well. So
Good.
yeah, that's about it. So all my bits are just waiting to get quotes on.
Good girl. Moving in the right direction. So
Are you self-publishing, Joe?
That was my original intention until in a one-on-one with Andrew, he said, how much is this going to cost you to produce?
Well, it's not a book, Justin, just so you're aware.
Yeah, so it's not a book, it's cards.
Gotcha.
And I had an initial quote from a printing company that my designers used before, and that was really expensive, but it had all the bells and whistles, and I learn each time I do a quote. So I also learn how to describe the product better for the printer. That first one I actually went to visit, and I took an example of the sort of thing I was talking about. But
What kind of cards, Joe?
When I looked at Rockpool, they have a category called Oracle and Tarot. Like that's the only cards that are on there, but mine aren't Oracle and Tarot. But I think that it could still.
They're affirmation, aren't they, Joe?
They're more like an affirmation card, but they've been written, like the content of them is about being able to establish better habits.
And how many are you looking at printing?
48.
No, how many decks?
Oh, well, I don't know until I find out how much they cost. So
okay,
I'm getting
so you can use e-print.
Yeah, so I'm getting quotes for 5, 100 and 500 just to see what the difference is. But 5's not going to be worth it. I just wanted prototypes to use to show people. But 100 isn't that much more expensive than 5 in the quotes I've had so far. So
the cheapest place you'll get them done is out of China.
Yeah.
Because I've looked for the last 12 months. So if you find something that is under $25 a deck,
so
let me know.
Joe, we've connected to a printer that does pretty well prints 3,000 different school diaries. So they're a big printer. They're in Brighton, and they've printed for us these little inspiration cards, and so these go as packs with the book. You can buy these as well, and so there's 31 of them in a little set, and they're little colours, and they're kind of the pull-out quotes from the book.
Great!
They just come in a plastic. We could have got the box, and the box was more expensive and so on. So we just went with this idea, and they kind of sit quite nicely in kind of a little business card, kind of little something or other. But to some extent, you can stick one up on a fridge or put your own.
And how much were they, Justin?
$6.75.
Can you please?
Super high quality. But we 500 we bought of them. So but they're
$6.75 for a deck. Sorry,
$6.75 for a deck. Yeah. And
my God, who are they?
Their name?
They're called Print and Marketing. And I can very happily, Joe, if you put your email in the chat, I'll write an email to them and introduce you, and the same Justine and so on. They're lovely people and do a whole lot of work, and they're just down to earth people, and really high quality,
and reasonably local, which is great. And if the quality is good,
what GSM are they?
Good question. I'll have the answer for you in 30 seconds or in a minute or so, but I'm not off that. Maybe 210.
Okay.
You're talking about the size?
GSM.
GSM. Yes.
Yeah. They're certainly nice, solid cards.
Yeah.
I don't think necessarily they're the cheapest, but they're Australian, local, very high quality and lovely people. But so they're certainly worth and good communicators. So
Sounds fabulous. Yeah.
Look at that. See what happens when you get like-minded people together.
And ask the right questions.
Ask the right questions.
I just found their website.
Beautiful.
Yep.
Good.
I think.
Yeah.
That's awesome. There you go.
Thank you. And yes, I'm getting quotes for boxes as well, and they're quite expensive.
Yes.
But I've changed the box quotes since I started, and I didn't want polystyrene type stuff, which is cheaper. I definitely want cardboard and telescopic box where the lid goes completely over the base.
Yes.
So the box design's already done.
Gotcha. Oh, great.
And there's also a little instruction sheet that goes in the front. It's a concertina that folds up. So there's actually 3 components at the moment until someone talks me out of it.
Yes.
So
I could have a crack at it. I'm not going to do it now, though.
Oh, thanks, Andrew.
Well, now's not the time to talk you out of something. But
They
if
were
this is quite
potentially,
prohibitive, then you've got to
yeah,
buy something.
yeah.
How big are your cards? Do you know the actual dimensions?
I think they're 80 by 80.
Yeah, I've been getting quotes for 85 by 85.
Yeah.
Mine are square as well.
I haven't got my ruler here, but I think they're, yeah.
Well, sounds like a good option to explore.
So
Good.
how does that get packed up with your book, just as a matter of interest?
No, it won't be. Kind of, it's as well. Like if you're on the shop and you go, yeah, I'd like a book or two, and you throw me a couple of sets of cards or something like that, or
Do they keep them at the counter or something? And
yes, yeah. So the bookstores won't. These were really for us to sell. So we've got to manage
Online.
this side of it. Yeah, online, and then in our workshops and various bits and pieces. The whole idea is really because it's just to try to keep the book more present in people's minds, because our book's kind of a workbook as you work through 7 steps to create your manifesto. And there's a little bit of a fear that people will be energized and start, a bit like what Andrew was saying with then writing a book, and they'll do step 1, but step 2 won't or something. And so maybe if you've got a little card that's on the fridge or something, and that, so it's kind of a promotional piece and a remembering piece, and kind of keeping you accountable a little bit, possibly by, you know, well, I love that quote and I remember that quote and I must get back to my book or something.
Give us
Mm.
some of your quotes, mate.
how many were there? Sorry, Andrew.
31.
31.
Yeah.
Give us a
So
quote, Justin.
well, so the first one is personal manifesto, a private declaration of your wisdom and intentions.
Yes.
And then the second one, it is absolutely crucial to know who I am and what I stand for. Otherwise, how do I know the life I'm leading is my life? So they just all go through, you know,
Powerful.
various bits and pieces. So they're just little kind of quotes like that. And
Yeah, good. That's awesome.
So I've got a book coming out in the next month on quotes.
Mm.
yeah,
So we
yeah,
decided to put it into a hardcover little book,
beautiful. Yeah.
A5 size.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Good stuff.
And you mentioned e-print before, Justine. So have you used an e-printer that you think was good?
No, it's actually called ePrint. That's the business. But they're really expensive. They're nearly $30 a deck. But you can buy one deck
Yes. Yeah.
from it. And they're Australian as well.
If you buy multiple.
Then they go down in price, but they don't go down in price like if you were purchasing 1,000 decks or even 100 decks. How many do you get, Justin? 500. 500 is about the minimum that you can get in from China, but then there's a 3-month leeway on those. Yeah, and then they probably only come down to about $2.50, $3 a deck, but they do come with a box for that price.
Just as an example, Joe, this is these are for our character strength cards, and on our website we've got little character strength cards and so on. So this is their pricing from Print and Marketing for A1 posters, you know, and there's that 25 or 50 or 100, and like you can see the price difference there from the big A1 posters, $4.50 a set to $2.50 a set to $150 a set, if you can. And then these are little A7 cards, and we've just gone and ordered another.
Do you mind if I copy that?
Yeah, no worries at all. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's the same with publishing. It's the same with publishing your books.
Yes.
So if you order from your publisher, say 1,000 books, the price difference to order 2,000 books is probably only another $1,300, $1,400, for instance. It's not double the price from 1,000 to 2,000. So the more you order in quantity on any of these, the cheaper per unit it goes down. It's just whether you have the surplus money sitting there in any of these to actually order them and have them have thousands sitting in your garage if you're not going to do anything with them.
Well, that's the thing, and that's what I said to Joe as well. You know, you also, before you invest, you need a strategy. You need your plan to market and sell them, because there's So people go, oh, yeah, I'm going to buy all this stuff, and then they don't have a plan, and they end up with boxes of books in their garage, and it's a bit
Yep.
tragic, really.
Well, if they end up too expensive, it's good to know I can get at least just one set printed off for all the work that's gone into it. At least be able to look at it and.
Yeah.
And,
Why don't you do that anyway, Joe? Why don't you use ePrint and get one deck done?
Yeah, I think it's a great
so
idea,
then you can
Justine. It's
visualise it,
motivational as
see it.
well.
Yeah, and you can visualize it and you can see it and you can take photos of it then, and then when you're talking to printers, this is what I want. Can you do this?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
you can then tweak what you want on them. If they don't look what you actually visualize them looking like.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll buy a set, Joe. I'll buy a set. Print two at least.
Okay, I better get 5 maybe then.
Yeah.
I'm just not sure if they
I
make.
think my mum would like a set too. So
Yeah.
I'm not sure if they do square ones, Joe. You'll have to have a look.
I'll have to ask. Thanks, Justine.
No, all the sizes are there. It's just like using Canva.
Okay,
It's very simple to order from it.
good to know.
And they come in a card box, not a lid box, like a plain card box.
Yeah, where you lift the lid out and yeah. I can't remember the name. I did actually find a site because I was looking for the names of different types of boxes so that I could ask for the right thing. Yeah, so a lot of the different boxes that I've just taken for granted my entire life actually have a name for the style.
You got to have a full, with any of your books, with any of these affirmation cards and that, you've got to have a marketing plan on what you're going to do to get your return of investment. And it's not the return of investment of just the price of the product. It's how much time and effort it went into actually producing it.
Yeah, I probably take that part of it for granted because for me, it's like a fun activity. So for me, it's just been like a creative exercise as if I was just sitting down and doing paintings or drawings or something like that. So the time and effort aspect hasn't registered for me at all. It's not part of how I cost it. And I actually have done a draft strategy, which I went over with Andrew. And the bit that I haven't been able to follow up yet is whether I'm restricted in terms of using socials, for instance. So we already spoke on Thursday, I think it was. I haven't had a chance to.
What do you mean if you're restricted with socials?
So for instance, and in the description, in the instructions, I've got a little introductory blurb about who I am and what the cards are used or intended to be used for. And because I'm a psychologist, we have restrictions about self-promotion. We're not allowed to use testimonials. So there might be something about using social media that's restricted as well, because I've never wanted or tried to do it. I haven't done with it or paid much attention. So I just want to check that off and make sure I'm not crossing some boundary.
Yeah, you'd have to be very careful with it.
Yeah.
And making sure that your insurance covers everything as well.
Yeah, so my insurance has actually in the past been really good because I do a couple of alternative things, like fluorescence therapy, for instance, is well and truly outside of any work I might do under Medicare. And the insurance company that I'm with didn't have it on their list when I first joined them, and they asked me for information. And amazing company, they actually got it put on the list of things they would cover based on me actually asking for it.
That's good. Sue and Justin, do you have insurance? Have you got public liability and professional indemnity insurance to cover? So your book would be covered under your printer's publishing insurance, but the cards that you've produced aren't. Okay, so you got to be careful with any of the stuff that you're actually producing. Also, did you run it past your publisher that you could actually print them?
Yep.
Yeah, no, that they like the idea because it kind of strengthens potentially sales for the book.
Yep.
And the overarching company has all the insurances, the professional indemnity and public liability. So that's, but yeah, that's, yeah.
I like to also comment on Joe's statement about she hasn't costed or valued or factored in her time, energy, and creativity. We as teachers from our background, and Justine and Andrew, you've both been raising consciousness here. We don't tend to do that either, because, you know, you get, in our work, you get paid your salary for what you're teaching and so on, no matter how many hours you put in, or whether it's your time or work time and so on. So in transferring into writing books and doing this sort of thing, yeah, it is hard. And Andrew, you've said too before, if you give things away or you undervalue, underprice, undervalue, what are you saying about what you think it's worth? But that's always been hard, and we're trying to grapple with that one too. That to a certain extent, if you do underprice things and give them too freely, people think, well, that mustn't be worth very much.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's
A
100%.
fine line.
Yeah.
100%.
After talking to Andrew, I went online one time and I was looking for like, what are people selling cards for? And it was before Rockpool had been mentioned to me. And like Temu, which I've sort of avoided purchasing anything from Temu at this point, but they had some card sets were like under $3. And the quality, I'm sure, would be horrible. And certainly one of them I actually
No, not
Not
necessarily.
But anyway,
Either.
very cheap. They had lots of very cheap card sets. And but one of them, like they had a photo of a very attractive looking young woman holding up an example of a card. And what it said was actually quite negative and didn't make sense.
Mm.
So I don't know whether it had been translated from another language, perhaps.
You also
But-
got to remember a website like that, Joe, they're happy to lose money on certain products to get people
Yeah.
coming to the website where they make money on other things.
That's
so,
right.
So
Yeah,
you
just
don't,
gotta
I
get you
wouldn't
there and
be
get the
paying any
traffic.
attention to that at all.
They'd still be making money on them
Oh, 100%.
because the bulk volume that would be pumping through would be massive.
Yeah. Well, I don't
And
know.
they'd have their own printers and everything.
Yeah, which would make a huge difference, I'm
Mm.
sure. And I
Oh,
don't
yeah.
want to, like, I haven't gone there with my head, but I think I've said before in one of these forums, one of the things that stopped me finishing a book I started writing over 10 years ago was standing in Borders, which was my favorite shop at the time. And I was in the self-help section and looking around and going, oh my God, do we really need one more self-help book, when I could see how many were there? And it instantly stopped me working on it. Wouldn't stop me now, but
No.
it stopped me then. And certainly that book's actually the next project I want to move on to once the cards are
Do
finished.
you know how many books are sitting in the State Library of Victoria?
Mm.
How many books do you think are sitting in there?
I don't know, 10,000 or more?
Millions.
2
Millions.
million.
2
Yeah,
million.
millions, yeah.
Wow.
2 million books in the State Library of Victoria at the moment. Every book that gets written has
Yep.
to be sent there.
Yeah.
Also, I would do some research, Joe, and find out how many self-help books come out every year in the world, or even every day. Like, it would be a ridiculous number of self-help books come out every single day.
Yeah.
Why do they come out? Because people buy them, people read them, people want them.
That's right.
Right. So you'll never need to worry about.
Yeah. And like I
Too
said, it wouldn't
many
stop me. It
self-help
wouldn't stop me today. It just stopped me more than 10 years ago when I was there doing
But
that.
I think so. That's you raise a really valid point, and I think the key thing here is valuing who you are, valuing what your experiences in life, valuing what you know, and valuing the impact you can have on lives. And you've got to put that value on yourself. Otherwise, you'll never really, you'll never strive, you'll never push, you'll never really go to the degree to get the result with your book that you could have, because it's like, oh, it's okay. If it doesn't make, I hear this so much, and it makes me, I don't, if it makes money, that'd be nice. Like,
That's not what I mean though. So
No, I'm not talking about you, Joe. I'm not talking about
Yeah.
you. I'm saying generally speaking, people don't value themselves. They don't value their time. They don't value what they know. And that is reflected often in their what they do because the value's not there. So again, this is not directed at anyone here. I'm just thinking this is a really important point that at times when we might think, is it that good or am I any good? Yeah, you are. And it is. Like, that's what I'm trying to say. The value you value, what your writing is valuable, your cards are valuable, your books are valuable. So don't just keep that in mind when everything you do.
For
Don't let
me,
your imposter syndrome
oh,
take
mm.
over.
Yeah.
For
And that's
me
Andrew,
too, it's sorry, Andrew.
sorry, go.
For me, it's the process as well. The process of doing it, to me, I practice giving the expression giving up the fruits of your labor. That is, I didn't anticipate how it was going to go at the end before I actually wrote it. I wanted to write it to get what I wanted to say across. And it didn't matter to me how many millions have written whatever they've written, because it's my lens, our lens in our case, co-authored, upon in a certain situation, which I worked hard on myself to say, I have the right to construct my own meaning. I have the right to stand toe to toe with whoever else is out there and make the meaning that works for me and put it out there without anticipating yet. Now's the time. Justin and I are working on the promotion and we've done the act of faith. We've purchased books and we're revising the website, and we've talked to Justine about, going into awards and doing everything. We're going to give it the red hot go. But I didn't do that stuff before I actually wrote the thing. I had to get the work done first.
And I think what I was saying before is like, for me, it's not work. And so I didn't cost, how many hours have I spent? It wouldn't be included in the cost. And because I've been self-employed for such a long time, it's just, like I say, this is actually almost like an art project for me.
Beautiful.
And it's fun.
That's lovely.
Enjoying the process.
Yep.
And I don't think I'd be doing it to the extent I've done where it's like I'm now actually getting a designer involved and getting quotes unless I thought it was worthwhile for other people.
Yep.
And so through my work, I've seen how much people struggle to change their habits. And Andrew is well aware of that area as well as many of the rest of you. And that's what's driving it. So I'm very happy doing it. And
Right.
Lovely.
yeah, it's fun. It's fun.
It's great.
Good. Excellent.
One quick question, if I could, while I've got a captive audience. I've been debating whether I should register a domain name which has the product name as part of the domain name, or just I've already got something like 3 or 4 domain names, including one that's my name.
Are you going to start another website?
Well, that's what I'm asking. Do I need to start another?
I thought we've had this conversation, Joe. Have we?
Have we?
Yeah, I think we have.
Okay.
So if you're going to start another website, that's a minimum of $60 a month that you're going to be behind to start with.
7.
$7.
I pay $7 for hosting at the moment.
Yeah, but again, I want to come back to valuing your time. If you've got 3, 4 websites, you have to keep them updated. You have to, whether it's $7 a month or $60 a month, it's still a cost. But how much time are you going to have to put into
get traffic to that website,
marketing them, getting traffic? Mate, simplify, Joe. One website, for goodness sake.
Oh, that's
There's
right. You and I spoke about how much you've got one website.
Yeah,
I've got 5 websites, but I also have a whole team that we continually are pushing traffic to those websites because each business has its own website. All right, if we could do it all on one, it would be amazing. But for us and how many businesses there are, that's just not practical. But anyone can start a website, but are you going to get traffic to the website? How are you going to get traffic? If you've just got one set of affirmation cards on it, that's not going to be enough, or affirmation cards and maybe a book on there. That's not going to be enough to direct traffic and keep traffic on there and then repeating to come back either. you're better off looking at one of your websites now and then putting a shop on it and directing your sales through that, because it's less complicated to do that than starting a new website just to sell some cards.
Simplify.
Yeah.
Yes.
100%.
Sorry, Andrew, you did indeed. And yes, thank you for the additional info, Justine. Yeah.
Just look at which one. So we've got one shop, but it's over 3 different websites, but it's the same shop. But we have traffic constantly going onto those websites. So it's not just, oh, let's start a website. It's like, okay, well, what marketing am I going to do in order to get people to the website? Start a Facebook page. It's a hell of a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
I'd potentially, Joe, be curious about who could sell your cards as well, and not kind of exclusively. So you can still sell them on your website for whatever price you want, but what percentage share would you give them if they sold them, whoever they are, with distribution and marketing? And, you know, they probably take 50%, maybe they take 60 or 70%, but maybe it gets it to 1,000 people rather than your own little website that gets it to 50 or 100 or something. And so just the possibility of other people helping you sell your beautiful cards.
It was actually part of my marketing strategy. There were a couple of people who I know quite well who I wanted to approach, and I thought they would probably, at least one of them I know is very commercially oriented and would be taking a commission or whatever. So
so don't leave them there on commission. So if they're going to buy, well, you'll approach some people and they'll say, oh yeah, you can leave 20 decks here, and as they sell, we'll pay you. We'll take a commission. We might take 50% of the sales or whatever it is. You want to be paid outright for each deck when you drop them all off. Here's 20 decks. Thanks. That's a couple of $100, because decks will get stolen. They potentially they could be stolen, damaged. And you've got to keep good records on where you've put all your decks or your books or whatever it is, to go back and say, well, hang on, I left 100 cards here, I left 100 decks here. You've sold 20, where's my money? Oh no, you didn't, you only left 90 here.
Yeah.
So always get them just to buy them outright. It's far less time and hassle.
Yeah.
And I know you said you haven't worried about your time and that, but I'll tell you, if you keep going back to these stores,
that
it's
would
going to
bother
take
me.
Time.
Yeah, that aspect would bother me. It's actually just in the development process doesn't bother me. But yes, the foot, you know, the footwear and traveling around to shops or something, that bit would bother me.
It's the same where you leave your books. Make sure that you've got, they either buy them off you or that you keep very, very good records, and you give them an invoice or some form that they sign when you're dropping off and leaving books there for them to sell.
Like a little mini contract or something.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Good.
Don't trust anyone with it. No, I'm serious, because you could leave 10 books sitting there, which has cost you hundreds of dollars to produce, and they'll come back and say, oh no, you only left 5. No, I'm sorry, I left 10. No, it was only 5. But if you've got something written, even if it's just a docket book and they sign it and you give them the top copy and you've got that bottom copy, you know, $5 at Officeworks, go and get an invoice book.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, good. Anything else before we wrap up? Any other thoughts, ideas, questions?
Can I celebrate something?
Yep, of course you can.
So this come in the mail today. It's the Australian Women's Small Business Champion Awards.
Wow.
And I knew I'd made the finals for disability support with Justine Martin Corporation. What I didn't know till tonight was that I made the finals as well.
Good job.
Into the Small Business Champion Influential Woman of the Year. for
Wow.
Australia.
Fantastic
Good
effort.
Fantastic.
on you.
Wonderful.
Thank you. So
Bravo.
Congratulations.
the awards aren't done until the day before our talk at the library, Sue.
Oh wow. 24.
So I'm deciding whether I'm going to fly up the day before and then fly home that morning of our authors talk.
Where do you have to go for the awards?
Sydney.
Yeah, we've got
Okay.
a panel at the local Word Festival. Justina and I are on a panel at the Geelong Library on the 25th, talking about the growth in self-help publication. So I'll be very delighted if you come with a big beam on your face and go, I got it. That'll give us all a lift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got to decide whether I can get a flight home in time for it.
Yeah.
Avalon.
Avalon?
Yeah,
to Sydney.
Avalon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Good
So
job.
I'm celebrating today.
Well,
Congratulations.
Justine, that's
Congratulations.
awesome. And,
Congrats.
Huge congratulations.
and well
Wow.
done to Sue and Justin and Joe. Well done for you for the stuff you're doing. And Clem, just good on you for being here, mate. It's been good seeing you.
Yeah. Good
Just
to meet you.
just as a final, if you haven't seen, I've popped in the chat. And I think most of you know I've got this event coming up in 2 weeks, the 30th. So it's an evening. It's called The Missing Ingredient, which is all about. So there's one on the Saturday, the 27th, also the 30th, all about adding some zing to your writing, adding new emotion and that engaging stuff into your writing. So that's that. I've put the link in the chat. So if you haven't seen that,
Already signed up.
Joe's already signed up for that. Yeah. So there's one on Saturday morning. There's another one on the Tuesday evening, same as normal times as the forums. So that's 2 weeks.
And get well soon, Justine.
Pardon?
Get well soon. You said you
Oh,
were.
thanks.
so-
Yeah. My body's obviously telling me that I need to slow down at the moment. So
It's been telling you that for a long time, Justine. It's about to actually listen to it.
I worked all weekend. I've got a photography exhibition for people with disabilities that we're doing at the moment, and I interviewed and we did the photos for 12 models on Saturday and Sunday, and then not this weekend, the following weekend we've got the final 12 that are booking in, but that'll end up as a coffee table book as well. So
Amazing.
Good. Awesome, guys. Well, I'll let you get on with your evenings. Good to see you all. And Sue and Justin, I don't know if we've got anything booked in, have we? So just send me an email when you get a chance or a message and we'll book something.
Yep.
Joe,
Thank
Justin, we're booked, and Clint, you know where to find me. So have a wonderful evening, guys, and keep up the great work.
Thank you so much.